Hello everyone. Welcome to this channel. As of today, we are going to recap the full Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, with its major events and flashbacks of how the story progresses. So cope up with the details and grab your popcorn. At the beginning of the season, Sensei Yaga appoints Gojo and Geto to save the star plasma vessel, Riko Amanai, for Tengen-sama, so he can prevent evolving. However, while progressing with the mission, the Q group attacks both Jujutsus, ending up with Geto saving Riko without letting the Q group even touch them. After this, Toji Fushiguro teams up with Agent Kong and sets up a bounty on Riko for about 30 million. Many spirits try their luck, but Gojo and Geto put them away and save Riko. But they soon realize that Riko's only caretaker has been kidnapped. Later, after they save the caretaker, Riko is brought into the Jujutsu High School, where they are supposed to be safe from any spirit, but Toji Fushiguro, with his strategy, enters and confronts Gojo. Toji uses a special tool, the inverted spear of heaven, because he is spiritless, but eventually, Gojo fails to supersede and dies in this fight. Whereas Geto, who brings Riko near to Tengen-sama, witnesses Riko's murder by Toji, which was impossible to happen. However, Toji and Kong bring Riko's body to the Star Religious Group headquarters, where the chief is very impressed. But as soon as Toji comes out, he sees Gojo standing in front of him, who himself saved by using the reverse curse technique for the first time. Eventually, the biggest fight takes place between Gojo and Toji, ending Toji for good. Later, when Geto arrives at the headquarters, Gojo, who is very happy about becoming the world's deadliest man alive, picks up Riko and leaves every feeling apart. Moreover, a year passes when Geto, thinking about the Star Religious Incident, concludes every non-sorcerer as a stinking monkey. One day, he meets with Yuki in his room, who reveals that she is a higher-grade sorcerer, but she never goes on any mission. Her intentions are as a way to transform the world differently. However, Geto is then given a task to visit a village and wipe the spirits. After doing so, he investigates that the villagers are cursing two innocent sorcerers, and they conclude that the girls are cursed. Geto receives flashbacks from the Star Religious headquarters and makes his way, killing every villager from the village. The news spreads when Sensei reveals to Gojo that Geto is killing every non-sorcerer, including his family. Moving on, one day, Shoko and Gojo meet with Geto, to which Shoko is told the reason for him doing this all, and Gojo on the other side tries to finish him for good, but he fails because they are friends. Sometime later, Geto is seen that now he is leading the Star Religious Group by changing its name and forcefully implementing his rules by brutally killing one of its employees. Later, the story shifts to the present as all that happened was a flashback, and Gojo is seeing in his dream. And at the moment, Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara are shown together in public. After this, Utaheim and Gojo in the school discuss a traitor who needs to be tracked down. After the investigation, they concluded that Metamaru might be their victim. For this task, Time takes the three students and goes to the basement where Kokichi is. Kokichi is so weak that he cannot survive even a little bit in the sunlight. However, Kokichi, before meeting with Geto and Mahito, where Mahito had the technique that she could renew Komichi's body in return for Gojo. Kokichi accepts her aid, but tries to convey this strategy to Gojo by himself, to which he spawns multiple puppets and runs away from Mahito. However, there he summons the ultimate Metamaru to confront Mahito, revealing himself to be the deadliest as he has 17 years of stored curses. Then the intense battle between Kokichi and Mahito unfolds, showcasing Kokichi's powerful armed puppet and strategic prowess. Despite Mahito's deadly techniques, Kokichi surprises him with a mechanical tube attack, damaging Mahito's left arm and ultimately destroying his soul. However, Mahito reveals his resilience, manipulating his soul to regenerate. Kokichi uses his remaining energy and another mechanical tube to land a final blow, shattering Mahito's domain. Yet, Mahito stands again, delivering a surprise attack that ultimately kills Kokichi. After this, we see that the Shibuya Incident has finally started, and for that, Mimi with her brother Ui and Yuji are sent to the subway basements to figure out the culprit, who is Mahito, and on the other side, Gojo, while investigating, comes right beneath the mall underground. There, he meets with Hanami, Jogo, and Shoso, who were sent by Geto just so they can buy some time with Gojo until Geto himself arrives. Not to forget that Jogo receives flashbacks about the time Geto tells him the facts about Gojo and his fights, knowing that he won't be able to stand in front of Gojo. Until then, Gojo wipes off Hanami, but cleverly Mahito succeeds in bringing the spirit-loaded train to the metro station where people rush toward the train, as they see their way out, but upon this, they almost fall for the Baron trap. Mahito also comes out to confront Gojo. Jogo tells Mahito about Hanami, where now, Mahito and Shoso use the techniques and blindly start killing people. By doing this, Gojo has to take a step, and only for a short period. He activates domain expansion in a way that hurts no one and kills all the transformed spirits, ending up being exhausted. But now, unfortunately, Geto arrives and traps Gojo in the prism, and also reveals that Geto is not the actual Geto, but his body is being used by another spirit. After this, all that was left was to gather everyone and save Gojo, because he is like the main big guy. For this, Kukichi, with his Metamaru, reaches Yuji and reveals the fact to him at first that Gojo has been trapped. Yuji runs out from the veil and proceeds to shout to everyone about Gojo. Tio, which Nanami and the rest change their procedure and meet with Yuji. Because if Gojo is not here, the whole city and mankind are in danger, no matter what. Moving on, Yuji and Megumi set off to destroy the Shibuya veil cast to prohibit sorcerers from entering. But since the veil is too strong, they realize that the caster of this veil is outside the veil. Which, they jump across an opposite building, and there they meet with Granny Ogami, her grandson, and Awasaka. Granny Ogami transforms her grandson into Toji, giving rebirth to Toji by using black magic, and Toji then kills the Jujutsu Sorcerer, Ino. And Yuji and Megumi cleverly defeat Awasaki in a cool fight. We see that Toji, who has been given another birth, has fully taken over the grandson's body. When Ogami commands Toji to slaughter every sorcerer, Toji very first kills Ogami. And while on the other side, Akari and Nadoro confront Hatura. At first, they struggle to fight with him, and nearly get killed until Nanami shows up and brutally kills Hatura when he doesn't reveal the other spirits. On the other side, Mei, and Uai are set to walk on the tracks and meet with Geto. Geto leaves a spirit with them and says to Mei, if she wins, she will meet Geto in the basement. Coming back to Nanami, who doesn't allow Nadoro and Akari to walk with him to basement 5 because the fight will be the deadliest, and only first-grade sorcerers are suitable for the job. Now Yuji runs to his destiny where he finally meets with Shoso. Shoso was already waiting to revenge his brother's death. However, Shoso uses his piercing blood technique and with back-to-back attacks. He surely beats Yuji, but at the final moment, Shoso resists on killing Yuni when he sees a flashback of Yuji giving him food from his hand and calling him brother, to which Shoso leaves Yuji barren. Moving to the other side, Mei and Ui team up when Ui confronts the spirit and gets locked in the coffin. Meanwhile, Mei interferes with the spirit and uses the blackbird manipulation to blow the final whistle. She then proceeds to meet with Geto, and on the other side, Nanami, Nabito, and Maki are all seen together proceeding to basement 5. There, the Dagon spirit confronts them and traps them in its domain. The intense fight breaks down, ending up pretty brutal. Even Nabito loses one of his arms, but to Dagon's surprise, Megumi breaks into the domain and uses his own domain expansion to let them escape by putting himself in threat. However, just when he makes a hole in Dagon's domain, Toji walks in. Surprisingly, Toji kills Dagon, but Megumi was appointed to hold his domain expansion, to which he was intensely exhausted. Toji walks up to Megumi as his best opponent, because the rest of them are almost very weak after fighting with Dagon. So he takes Megumi and quickly runs out of the building, while Jogo comes and sees that Dagon has been defeated, which was impossible. So he puts Nanami and the rest on fire until he sees a reflection of Sukuna. Jogo then goes to Yuji where he sees Nanako and Mimiko, who has given a finger to Yuji. Jogo puts them on fire and gives Sukuna's finger to Yuji. However, Sukuna finally gets up and firstly he brutally kills both the girls, but makes a deal with Jogo for unleashing the fingers. Meanwhile, Megumi and Toji are immersed in their fight until Toji is about to finish Megumi, but realizes with a flashback that his opponent is his son. Upon this, Toji kills himself, and the body retransforms into Ogami's grandson. However, surprisingly, Megumi is heavily injured by Hatura's attack. And on the other side, the whole city is under a very big disaster with Jogo and Sakuna's fight. Sakuna kills Jogo as well, and there he meets with Orayomi. After this, we see Megumi has little strength, to which he risks his life and summons Mahoraga, who firstly kills Megumi and then proceeds with Hatura. However, Sakuna sensed the presence of Mahoraga and came to Megumi. Using his reverse curse technique, he restores some health of Megumi and fights with Mahoraga. In the most intense fight up until this time, Sakuna has to activate his domain within the city and completely devastate everything, including millions of people dying. After the fight, Sakuna puts Megumi to Principal Yaga and Shoko so Shoko can recover him and lets Yuji take over his body. After all that it was left to take, Yuji was heavily broken upon seeing the destruction and accused himself. However, he goes to the basement where he sees Nanami, who has completely wiped off the transformed spirits, but Mahito is standing right behind him. Nanami, after all, he gives himself up that it is his time to rest in peace, to which he visualizes Haibara, and Haibara shows him the presence of Yuji until Mahito kills him. Yuji, on seeing this, breaks out and starts fighting with Mahito. However, at the time when Gojo was sealed, it was revealed that Mahito had split himself into two, and now that one piece is with Yuji, the other Mahito was with Nobara. Nobara is in a fight with Mahito's clone, which she soon realizes and uses her resonance technique to cast her attack on Mahito. It lands perfectly, that also weakens the actual Mahito. Yuji, who is devastated, now sighs with relief that at least someone is here to help him. However, after this, both Mahitos run to meet with each other, followed by Yuji and Nobara in the metro station. However, both Mahitos, instead of being one, cross and change their opponents. Nobara, who thought she was facing Mahito's clone, couldn't process, and the actual Mahito used his technique and killed Nobara, to which Yuji was more than ever stunned. Mahito was about to blow the final whistle on Yuji when Todo arrived out of nowhere, and uses his boogie-woogie technique to swap Yuji's place. Todo and Nida both help Yuji to once again stand up and fight, and Mahito somehow comes following them. A long fight between them takes place when the scene shifts to Miwa, who holds the last Metamaru in her hands. Metamaru finally reveals his feelings to Miwa and eventually loses strength before he tells her to leave Shibuya and return. However, Miwa and the rest of schoolmates were all there and got emotional. Back to Mahito, who now has nothing but to use his full strength to wipe out his opponents, and Todo and Yuji both accompany each other with their full powers. Long story short, their fight is immersed into super acts and strategies. However, Mahito first uses his domain expansion inspired by Gojo and then successfully attacks Todo, to which Todo had to resist his whole transformation and cut his arm. Now that he can't use his boogie-boogie attack through clapping, Mahito is overwhelmed, but in fact Todo visualizes his crushed Takada and claps on Mahito's hand, eventually swapping with Yuji. The fight now gets more tense, and Mahito transforms into his full-fledged potential. But Yuji uses his black flash techniques and finally ends Mahito. In the end, it's all just wolf after rabbit scene between them until Geto arrives. Moreover, surprisingly, Mahito realizes that Geto will use him and soon kill him, to which he tries to attack him. Geto backs up, traps Mahito, and swallows him. Now it is Geto and Yuji left, to which Yuji was from the beginning very hyped and yells to him, "Give me back Gojo-sensei." But Geto fights him and uses Uzumaki techniques until Jujutsu Sorcerers arrive altogether, including Yutaheim, Panda, and the rest. To their surprise, Shozo is also here, who reveals all the facts about Yuji being his brother and the spirit inside Geto, Noritoshi Kamo, Jujutsu clan's most evil sorcerer. However, after a long time no seen, Yuki shows up. Yuki talks with evil Gege and understands the real mastermind behind all the chaos, to which she asks Yuji about Mahito, and he tells her that he has been swallowed. This brings the biggest massacre because now Geto uses Mahito's power and unleashes the ideal transformation over the whole of Japan. That means that everyone who is marked by Geto as his followers and the ones who could see the spirits will have the techniques and may start fighting with each other. The whole world then sees that Japan is in big chaos, but few know what is wrong and few are still bluffs. In the end, all we see is that whoever tries to save Gojo is expelled from Jujutsu society because of the Shibuya incident caused by him. This was stated by Master Yaga, who is sentenced to death for putting Gojo and Geto involved. Here, the season ends, yet unfolds more mysteries, and the next season that will come out will have more fantastic things as of what and where Gojo will be and how the Jujutsu clan will embark on their journey to save Japan. Until next time, make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel for more upcoming recaps of anime. Thanks.